Okay, you can read next two paragraphs.
Mhm. Jaman continued, My dear Lord, the time factor, which combines all the physical elements, is also your representative. You are the supreme time, time factor in which all creation take place, is mentioned and is finally annihilated, and beyond the physical elements and the time factor. The person who manipulate the ingredients and the advantages of creation are part and parcel of you. The living entity is not therefore an independent creator. By studying all factors in the right perspective, one can see that you are the supreme controller and the Lord of everything. My dear Lord, I can therefore understand that you are the Supreme Personality whom I worship as a Lord Ramchandra. My Lord Ramchandra wanted to construct a bridge over the ocean, and I saw personally how the ocean became agitated simply by my Lord's glancing over it. And when the whole ocean became agitated, living entities like the whales, alligators, Timingala fish all became perturbed. The Timingala fish in the ocean can swallow big aquatics like whales in one gulp. In this way, the ocean was forced to give way and allow Ramchandra to cross the island known as Lanka. The island is now said to be Ceylon. Lord Ramchandra's construction of a bridge over the ocean from Cape Comorin to Ceylon is still well known to everyone. After the construction of the bridge, a fire was set all over the kingdom of Ravan. During the fighting with Ravan, every part of his limbs was slashed to pieces by your sharp arrows, and his hands fell to the face of the earth. Now I can understand that you are none other than my Lord Ramchandra. No one else has such immeasurable strength. No one else can defeat me in this way.
Right. So because he is um, pure devotee of Lord Rama, so is recollecting how Lord Ramchandra he killed the demonic king, how he finished the demonic king Ravana, and Ravana represents lust, lust personified, right? Kumbhakarna represents anger. So like that, we have Shishupal envy, Hiranyakashipu represents greed, right? So like that, and to kill these anarthas, we need the shelter of Lord's holy name, Ram Nam, Ram Ban, right? So this kills all the anarthas, lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, काम, क्रोध, लोभ, सब चला जाएगा. If we take shelter of Lord's holy name. So he's remembering that the place is known as Sri Lanka, Cape Comorin, Ceylon, and how they made a bridge on the waters by using the Ram Nam, by the power of Lord's holy name. Okay, we'll go ahead. Lord Krishna was satisfied by the prayers and statements of Jamvan, and to mitigate Jamvan's pain, he began to lightly rub the lotus palm of his hand all over Jamvan's body. Thus, Jamvan at once felt relieved from the fatigue of the great fight. Lord Krishna then addressed him as King Jamvan because he, and not the lion, was actually the king of the forest, having killed a lion with his bare hands without a weapon. Krishna informed Jamvan that he had come to ask for Syamantaka jewel because ever since it had been stolen, his name had been defamed by the less intelligent. Krishna plainly informed him that he, he had come there to ask for the jewel in order to be free from this defamation. Jamvan understood the whole situation, and to satisfy the Lord, he immediately delivered not only Shamantak jewel but also his daughter Jamvati, who was of marriageable age, and presented her to Lord Krishna. So this is Krishna's second marriage. First Rukmini, second Jamvati, right? And Lord Krishna pacified Jamvan and declared Jamvan to be the king of the forest because he killed the lion without any weapon. And in return, Jamvan gave the jewel along with her daughter Jamvati. The episode of Jamvati's marriage with Krishna and delivery of the jewel known as Shamantak was finished within the mountain cave. Although the fighting between Krishna and Jamvan went on for 28 days, the inhabitants of Dwarka waited outside the tunnel for 12 days. And after that, they decided that something undesirable must have happened. They could not understand for certain what had actually happened. And being very sorry and tired, they returned to the city of Dwarika. क्या हुआ? 12 दिन तक उन्होंने वेट किया और उसके बाद वो चले गए वापस द्वारका में. और फिर देखते हैं उसके बाद क्या हुआ. या प्लीज रीड.
All the members of the family, namely Krishna's mother Devaki, his father Vasudeva, and his chief wife Rukmani, along with all other friends, relatives, and residents of the palace, were very sorry when the citizens returned home without Krishna. Because of their natural affection for Krishna, they began to call Satrājit ill names, for he was the cause of Krishna's disappearance. They went to worship the goddess Chandrabhaga, praying for the return of Krishna. The goddess was satisfied by the prayers of the citizens of Dwarka, and she immediately offered them her benedictions. Simultaneously, Krishna appeared on the scene, accompanied by his new wife Jamvati, and all the inhabitants of Dwarka and relatives of Krishna became joyful. The inhabitants of Dwarka were as joyful as someone receiving a dear relative back from the dead. They had concluded that Krishna had been put into great difficulties due to the fighting. Therefore, they had become almost hopeless of his return. But when they saw that Krishna had actually returned, not only but with a new wife, Jamvati, they immediately performed a ceremony of celebration.
यस. नॉट अलोन. ठीक है. एंड
Al-
एंड चंद्रभागा.
okay.
इफ यू हैव गॉन टू पंढरपुर, देयर इज रिवर कॉल्ड चंद्रभागा, है ना? तो चंद्रभागा इज द नेम ऑफ रिवर. जैसे गंगा है, यमुना है, वैसे ही चंद्रभागा. So they went and worshipped goddess Chandrabhaga and prayed for Krishna. And Krishna came back with new wife Jamvati. Okay. So this chapter will end today, and then from tomorrow we'll begin with new chapter. Aditya Prabhu is waiting. Let me add him. So
Chandrabhaga is a river.
sorry.
Oh, Chandrabhaga is a river. No worries.
In पंढरपुर जो रिवर है उसका नाम चंद्रभागा है.
Okay.
जैसे गंगा
Okay.
देवी भी है, गंगा नदी भी है, राइट? वैसे ही चंद्रभागा देवी भी है, चंद्रभागा नदी भी है ना? सो सो वो देवी ही जल के रूप में आती है बेसिकली. शी इज एक्सपेंशन ऑफ गॉडेस दुर्गा. यस. वेलकम आदित्य प्रभु फॉर अवर बुक रीडिंग. सो कैन यू रीड फ्रॉम हियर किंग उग्रसेना? Oh, no problem. No problem. Okay, so this paragraph I will read. King Ugrasena then called for a meeting of all important king and chiefs. He also invited Satrajit. And before the whole assembly, Krishna explained the incident of the recovery of jewel from Jamban. Krishna wanted to return the valuable jewel to King Satrajit. Satrajit, however, was ashamed because he had unnecessarily defamed Krishna. He accepted the jewel in his hand, but he remained silent, bending his head downwards, and without saying anything, in the assembly of the kings and chiefs, he returned home with the jewel. Then he thought about how he could clear himself of the abominable act he had performed by defaming Krishna. He was conscious that he had offended Krishna very grievously and that he had to find a remedial measure so that Krishna would again be pleased with him. So Satrajit spread bad words, bad mouthing, rumors about Lord Krishna and he was ashamed. अरे मैंने क्या कर दिया? भगवान के बारे में इतना कुछ लोगों को उल्टा पुल्टा बोला, भगवान का नाम बदनाम किया, तो उसको बहुत शर्म आई और फिर उसने क्या सोचा कि मुझे कुछ करना चाहिए और फिर उन्होंने क्या किया? We'll see ahead. Yes, last two paragraphs are remaining. Then we'll stop for today. Yeah, you can read these two paragraphs.
King Satyajit was eager to get relief from the anxiety he had foolishly created due to being attracted by a material thing, especially by the Syamantaka jewel. Truly affli- affli- afflicted by the offense he had committed against Krishna. He sincerely wanted to rectify it from within. Krishna gave him good intelligence, and Satyajit decided to hand over to Krishna both the jewel and his beautiful daughter Satyabhāmā. There was no alternative for mitigating the situation, and therefore he arranged the marriage ceremony of Krishna and his daughter. He gave in charity both the jewel and his daughter to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satyabhama was so beautiful and qualified that Satyajit, in spite of being asked for her hand by many princes, was waiting to find a suitable son-in-law. By the grace of Krishna, he decided to hand his daughter over to him. Lord Krishna, being pleased by Satyajit, informed him that he did not have any need of the Samantaka jewel. It is better to let it remain in the temple as you have kept it, he said, and every one of us will derive benefit from the jewel because of the jewel's presence in the city of Dwarka. There will be no famines or disturbance created by the pestilence or excessive heat and cold. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of 56th chapter of Krishna, the story of the Shamantaka jewel.
Yes, Krishna understood that Satrajit is still attached to Shamantak Mani. तो भगवान क्या बोले उनको? आप मणि अपने पास रखिए. आई डोंट नीड दिस मणि, यू कीप विथ यू. और फिर बाद में क्या होता है? बिकॉज ऑफ शामंतक मणि, सत्राजीत विल बी किल्ड इन नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. उसकी हत्या हो जाएगी. वाई? बिकॉज ही ब्लास्फेम्ड सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉडहेड. तो जो भगवान के बारे में उल्टा सीधा बोलता है, भगवान के बारे में, भगवान के प्रति अपराध करता है, तो भक्त उस अपराध को सहन नहीं कर सकते. जैसे कोई भक्तों के प्रति अपराध करता है तो भगवान सहन नहीं करते हैं. कोई भगवान के प्रति बोलता है तो भक्त उसको सहन नहीं करता है. तो वो जो लीला है वो नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में आएगी.